Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone. So I think we can shortly start. And welcome again to everyone. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if there is someone new today, but as usual, I do a small introduction about the project and about the session that is going to be the last one of the series of webinar. And okay, so my name is Elena, and I'm the project coordinator of the Reintegrate Wellbeing project that started almost 2 years ago, and it's going to be to come to an end in August. This is a KA2 project co-founded by the European Union, and the goal of this project is to help people that are victims of burnout and also people that are long-term unemployed. And it also addresses to companies for give more sensibility also about the topic in general. We created in these 2 years a lot of material that we are using now for the webinars, and we started 2 months ago. Till now, we covered all the modules. The first one was about uncovering the core of burnout, so a comprehensive understanding, and then recover motivation and self-assurance after burnout. The third module was more practical and about soft skills for empowerment. And today we are doing the last session of the fourth module that is about the importance of well-being at work. In the first session, we covered the definition of well-being. In the last session, we had the road to mental health and well-being. And today, for the last one, we will deal and speak about encouragement. And before starting, I want to remember everyone that this session is recorded. So we are going to have the sessions also later on, and also for people that cannot attend today. And if you have questions, you can write in the chat or raise your hand and ask for the floor. And okay. Then we have also for the day and for the last session, Joe. And thank you so much for being here again. I think you can do a short introduction and then we can start.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here for the third time in a row. I'm honored. So yeah, as we talked about, so basically 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the importance of well-being at the workplace. Last week, we talked about the road to getting there, and today it's about encouragement. So today it's more about encouraging organizations to actually focus and work on implementing positive work environments at their organizations. So today it's going to be a bit of practical of how to do, what steps leaders and organizations can take in order to ensure that, and how we can encourage them to actually do something about it, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Do I need to introduce myself again? Sorry, I feel like everyone here has been here the last 2 weeks. But if someone doesn't know me, I'm Joe. I'm a life coach, and right now I help people deal with their burnouts, whether it's prevent the burnout or actually help them overcome it, because I've witnessed a lot of burnouts. I've been in a burnout. My mother has been in a burnout. So it's been a big and integral part of my life, and I don't want other people to have to suffer the consequences of a burnout, which is why I do what I do, which is why I'm here today. Yeah, so that's me. Sharing the screen in a second. Yes, there you go. So as I said, today is all about the encouragement. Yeah, so we're going to start with a short exercise, which is listing 2 characteristics of a positive work environment. I don't know if you guys remember them from the last 2 weeks, but just write 2 characteristics of a positive work environment that contribute to mental well-being in the chat. Each one can write just 2. and choose one key leadership behavior that positively can impact mental well-being and explain why it is crucial. Don't explain, yeah, just write it, and then we can get into the discussion about it, if you like. I'm gonna see if I see the chat. Where do I see the chat? It's always the same issue, isn't it? Vivian said empowering the employees and no micromanagement. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a couple of more responses and then we're gonna talk about them. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, let's do 1 more minute. Okay, so Vivian said empowering the employees and no micromanagement. Those are two characteristics of a positive work environment, 100%, yeah. Empowering the employees can be words of affirmation, but it can also be making sure that they're seen, heard, appreciated, making sure to motivate them when they need it and give them what they need, and no micromanagement. Yes, definitely. However, sometimes organizations need to also like in order for them to actually see the statistics, but I get the point of no micromanagement in the furthest part of like checking everything you're doing. But yeah, I agree completely. So more trust. Trust is also a characteristic of a positive work environment. Viola said time and space for the employees to share their opinion, 100%. Yeah, so basically maybe introducing one-on-ones where employees can share their opinion or how they're feeling. I have friends who work at a company where the mental well-being right now is pretty low. Yeah, and I was talking to them the other day, and all the employees took their time in their one-on-ones to actually share what they feel and how they feel. And now the management is actually taking action. So making sure that the management takes time to actually listen to the employees can actually help improve the positivity of the work environment. And Viola also said organizing activities that are not work related with the team, 100% boosts morale, builds the team better, makes sure that people enjoy being at work together. And therefore, the well-being is much better that way. Then regular breaks and feeling free to share opinions, 100%. We talked about sharing opinions, regular breaks. We talked about that last time with the Pomodoro concept, where you basically need to implement more breaks to make sure that you're not constantly in a stress. So every once in a while, take a breath, take a couple of deep breaths, maybe drink some water, calm down, and then restart the task or continue the task. Yeah. Open communication plus support and recognition. Yes. Ioana said that. One key leadership behavior is empathy. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah, empathy is extremely important for people in leadership positions because they need to feel and they need to understand how their employees are doing. And Joanna also agrees with the no micromanagement. I get that. And Marta said good management and space for constructive feedback. So basically, all of you have almost the same, yeah, like they're the same core but differently structured. Definitely the freedom and the feeling that you can share how you feel and how you're doing and how your work is right now is so important also for the leaders of organizations. Vivian said trust is very important, as I mentioned. Yes, 100%. Yeah, so I don't want to take too long for this section, but I definitely get where you guys are going, and I feel like you guys know the characteristics pretty well. You have to earn the trust, but lost very quickly. Yes. Well, I'm a kind of person who trusts, But yeah, when it's lost quickly, but trust is there until it's broken, in my opinion. Yeah. And when you are an employee or you are an employer, right? When you hire someone, that's already trust. There is trust, otherwise you wouldn't be hired. So there is trust already, and until it's broken, it'll be there. Yeah. Key leadership can be humility, not feeling better than others. Yeah, not talking down, but rather being with the team on one field, because at the end of the day, it's one team trying to get the same objective, and being an example. So when you tell your employees to be punctual every day, I think as a leader, you should also be punctual. And if you tell them to do XYZ task in this time, you should be also able to do it in this time as well. So you need to be an example. Awesome point. Yes. So future well-being vision board. What you could also do as an exercise is write down the current situation on a sheet of paper, and on another, write down the desired future state. So if you feel like right now it's too tense, too stressful, things are not moving smoothly anymore, you can write that down on one sheet of paper, and on the other, you describe where you want to be, right? Including necessary changes and objectives. So once you know where you are and where you want to be, it's easier for you to set objectives and actually see which areas need changing and which areas we need to improve. And afterwards, collectively review and discuss these key points. I don't think we'll do this example. I think this is meant more for the organizations once they want to do that. But feel free if you want, if someone wants to do that, write in the chat, and then we'll wait for you to write an example down, just so we can go through it, because this is usually an example that takes time, right? You cannot just sit there and write the situation quickly. You need to actually think, and you need to be able to feel how the desired situation should be. Like, you should associate it with your thoughts and feelings. But if anyone wants to share something, feel free to do that. You can just unmute yourself and talk if you like. The thing is, guys, I don't see your faces, right? I'm sharing the screen, so in case someone says something, just unmute. If nothing's there, then we can continue, no? Okay. Yeah? Someone said anything?
No, I was saying maybe we can keep going, I guess.
Okay, cool. Great. So it's about being able to integrate these well-being strategies, synthesizing them, right? So this session will combine previous lessons that we've already talked about and teaching how to mix different types of well-being into work strategies, because we talked about this 2 weeks ago. There is no such thing as one kind of well-being. There is the well-being at the workplace, there is the societal well-being, social well-being, physical well-being, mental well-being, and so on and so forth, right? So in this session, we will cover how to use methods in different work situations. So we're focused on well-being at work. Leadership's role in well-being. As you guys have already noticed and also wrote in the chat, the leadership has a big role in the well-being of the entire organization, right? If the I talked about this before. There's a book called the fish begins to stink at the head. So the head has to implement certain strategies to ensure that the employees are feeling good, because employees are not able to implement the strategies themselves due to them being employees at the end of the day, right? So the leadership role, behavior and policies can significantly influence the workplace environment, obviously, right? Having policies such as making sure that the employees get enough break, get enough vacation days. Those things are incredibly important. This includes training in emotional intelligence, empathetic communication, and creating an inclusive culture. So the leadership can implement training for the employees about emotional intelligence to help them also understand how they're feeling. Because most of the times we think we know how we're feeling, but once we actually dive a bit deeper, we find out that there are certain things that we would like to work on. So the leadership can help the employees actually learn more about themselves, which is something everyone aspires to. We want to grow, we want to learn. Empathetic communication, making sure that there is a space, as someone said in the chat, where you can share and empathetically talk about the issues or the ideas, and creating an inclusive culture, which comes hand in hand with that. So making sure that you include the team members into the decisions, into the picture, making sure they understand where we are and where we want to go. Leaders will also be shown how to lead by example. Someone also said that in the chat, and to be very precise, it was ETN Education, so I can't actually know who it was. But yeah, someone said they need to lead by example, and that's so true. They need to demonstrate that the work-life balance is important. So a lot of leaders at companies work way too much in front of everyone. So basically, they also don't have a work-life balance. And by setting this example, you make every employee think that this is what they also need to do. And therefore, they also lack the work-life balance. I understand when it's someone's company that they will put in more time, more effort, because at the end of the day, maybe they must, right? But as an employee, we need to make sure that work-life balance is there, and the leaders should be able to show that by living it and proving that it's the way it is. And encouraging open discussions about mental health. We already talked about that. Customizing strategies to organizational needs. Every organization will have different needs, right? If you're working with, for example, in an organization where you work with children, you'll have different needs. If you work in an organization where you work with maybe people with certain disabilities, the employees will have different needs. So we need to implement certain strategies according to what the organization needs, and not just any kind of standard organizational strategies. So assessing what your organization's specific needs are and challenges related to well-being. How can we do that? By conducting surveys or focus groups to understand employee concerns and preferences. A company where I used to work at did something we call in German Betriebsrat. So basically we voted that 3 people from the company, it was a bit of a bigger organization, 3 people represented the other employees in front of the board. And therefore, when we had an issue, we can go to those representatives, and they can also help us get our feedback to the board in a way that is constructive and actually can help move things forward, right? Surveys, we actually had a lot of surveys. I think once a month, we got a survey from the organization. How are you feeling? What's going good? What's not going good? What's bothering you? And anonymously, we were able to actually write what we were thinking, what we were feeling. And this was extremely helpful because the leaders of the organization actually understood where they need to implement certain strategies. So this is another tip that is really helpful, surveys. And also exploring how to tailor well-being programs to fit different team sizes. Sometimes you have a team of 100 people. It's tough to maybe train them all at once. So we need to also understand, okay, each team size needs a different strategy, needs a different approach, right? We need to also understand the structure of the company. Maybe there's a hierarchy, who's where, who needs what at what time, and which work pattern, ensuring relevance and effectiveness, right? If there's any question, just unmute yourself and speak, or write it in the chat, just a reminder. So let's talk about some advanced techniques in well-being integration. Integrating technology. Nowadays, all of us are integrating technology. I think someone has an AI in this meeting right now, or, who's going to summarize, right? So integrating technology and well-being initiatives as well. For example, wellness apps, meditation apps, mindfulness apps, reading apps, right? Making sure that people get more initiatives where they can work on their well-being. I worked at a company as well. I worked at so many companies, apparently. I worked for a company that had also their own kind of, let's call it course platform, where you can go on it, and there were courses about many different things. So if you wanted to educate yourself about well-being, about meditation, about yoga, about whatever, we were able to do that. And this was something all the employees really liked. So implementing something like this can help actually increase satisfaction for each employee at the company. And learning about creating a continuous feedback loop where employee feedback shapes ongoing well-being initiatives. So the more feedback we get, the more strategies we can implement, making sure that it's a continuous feedback loop where we know this is working, this is not working, why is it not working, how can we make it better? Yeah. Strategic implementation. We cannot just from like today say, yeah, everyone has a training tomorrow, right? We need to strategically implement everything. So learning how to develop a phased plan for rolling out well-being initiatives and ensuring long-term sustainability. So before thinking about the new plan or how we want to proceed, actually breaking it down into a phased plan, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and making sure that it's a step-by-step process so we don't overwhelm the employees as well. The organization is responsible for implementing something like this in a way that doesn't overwhelm people and stress them too much and feel like it's a big change and they don't know how to cope with it. So it has to be slow. Learn about securing buy-in from top management and effectively communicating the importance of these initiatives to all stakeholders. A lot of companies have stakeholders or investors or whatever. Making sure that they also back the new initiatives, that they also invest in them. Making sure they understand also why it's important to keep the well-being at work high, how to keep the satisfaction of the employees high. Because we talked about this in the last 2 weeks. Increased well-being at work equals increased productivity and happiness and satisfaction. And therefore, this is something that stakeholders would want to invest in, would want to push, and would want to support. So when we plan how to roll it out, we need to also plan on how to get the stakeholders on board. Then there's the holistic integration. In holistic well-being, it's important to understand how different health aspects like physical, mental, emotional, and social are connected. We talked about this before, and we'll talk about it a bit more detailed, how they're connected now. They don't work separately. They affect each other, actually, right? So, for example, physical health can influence mental well-being because when you feel good physically, you'll be happier, you'll be clearer, your motivation will be higher. So when you're physically doing well, you're mentally also doing well. Better, let's say better, because sometimes you need more than just physical health, right? Emotional health can affect social relationships. When you're unhappy, when you're not satisfied, when you're angry, when you're emotionally not well, you will not be able to forge nice friendships or meaningful connections with other people because you'll be pulled back. You won't be as open, as happy, as excited of meeting new people. So emotional health can affect social relationships and therefore our social well-being. This approach helps individuals and healthcare providers see the bigger picture of health and create better overall strategies. Health in general is more than just our physical health. It's our mental health, it's our social health, it's our emotional health, and it's our physical health. A lot of people, when they talk about health, they're like, yeah, I am on a diet. Well, you need also a diet of what you consume on social media. You need a diet of what you consume elsewhere. And what are your interests? So we need to make sure that we take care of our health as a holistic approach, like in a holistic, all of it, yeah? Holistic practices, for example, yoga and Tai Chi. Why are they such good practices? Well, they integrate physical postures, right? And breathing exercise and meditation, and those improve flexibility, balance, and mental clarity. Breathing exercises help us get more oxygen to the brain and therefore function better and feel better and feel motivated and not tired. Because when we feel tired, that means we're lacking oxygen in our body. So through yoga and Tai Chi, through the certain postures and the breathing exercises, we're inhaling more oxygen. Meditation, we talked about the advantage of meditation before. Meditation helps us understand that we are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are not necessarily always a reality. And we understand how to be more present in the moment and therefore be able to enjoy what we're doing more without being stressed about what's going to happen tomorrow or next year or the year after that. Yeah, that's the mental clarity. Meditation and mindfulness, focusing on present moment awareness, as I just said, this reduces stress and enhances emotional well-being, right? So sometimes we need to take it slow because life is not about being fast all the time. We need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. We're mindful that we need to be here in the now. Nutritional changes. This is more about the physical health. The leaders can also emphasize the consumption of whole or nutrient-rich foods. A friend of mine works at a company where they cook together. This is their activity. Twice a week, they cook together. And we can implement that they cook healthy meals and therefore emphasizing that the nutritional changes can actually support overall health. Because as we said, once your gut feels better, your body feels better, you look better, you feel better. It's a direct correlation. Also, making sure to emphasize the importance of herbal medicine and aromatherapy. There are so many plants and so many things out in nature that can help us. Utilizing natural substances and essential oils for healing and relaxation. There are these oils that you can smell to feel relaxed, the oils that you can smell to feel hyped. And those are things that we can also implement in new workplaces to make sure we ensure that the well-being is being taken care of at work. Massage and acupuncture. This is also an activity that organizations can maybe offer or make it like as a prize someone can get for doing something or finishing a task. Because physical therapy is making sure that we all have a lot of knots in our back, which is very normal because we sit so much, right? And also if you train, if you go to the gym or whatever, you'll always have those knots in your back. And every once in a while you need them to be relaxed and pressed out, which is why acupuncture and massage can actually help relieve the tension. Because when our shoulders are tense, if you tense your shoulders, you'll feel tense all over your body. But if you relax your shoulders, you'll feel better and calmer and be clearer. And the same thing is with the knots on our backs. We don't feel them the entire time, but they're there. So we need to improve our health condition by making sure we relieve the tension in our bodies. Other holistic practices, or what do we mean by that? By engaging in holistic practices, individuals can actually and actively address and nurture their physical, mental, emotional, and societal well-being, and social well-being, and societal as well. Those all contribute to a better well-being in general, a better work-life balance, and therefore a better well-being at work. This comprehensive approach recognizes that well-being is a multi-dimensional concept. It's not just one concept. And it requires attention to various aspects for a holistic and balanced state of health. We all want to be balanced. We all are looking for some balance within us, and especially shortly before a burnout or after a burnout. That means we're just out of balance. We're so imbalanced right now. We need to get that balance back. And that requires us to pay attention to a lot of different aspects of our well-being. Thank you for being an integral part of this transformative journey. Together, we've created a community of growth and mutual empowerment. I'm very honored that I was able to do the last bit. I wasn't presenting the first couple of modules, but I'm happy I was presenting this module. And I really appreciate that you guys started an initiative like this. It's incredibly important. And I hope that it's just getting started and gonna grow and gonna help a lot of people come out of their burnouts or feel better at work. So yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for organizing this and putting in actually so much time and effort the last 2 years in creating this program. So respect to that. Yes, thank you. Clap. Yeah, let's go to a Q&A if you guys want. Like if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask or write it in the chat. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
So at first, thank you so much to you, Tom. It was really the last 3 sessions was really, really interesting. And we saw a lot of people that were participating more. So really thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was actually thinking during the last holistic concept, if I mean, I know that there are like multidimensional spheres about that, but I was wondering if you think that there is one dimension that is kind of more important than others.
That's tough. It depends on the certain situation you're in and where the balance is off the most. But I would never say one of them is the most important. They're all extremely important, and actually they're all on the same level. But you can be balanced, for example, health-wise, physical health-wise, but you can be emotionally not balanced. So it's about understanding which one we need to focus on more at which point of time, rather than which one is the most important. If you ask me, I believe one aspect that can actually transform the biggest changes is physical health, taking care of the physical health, making sure we exercise, do yoga, eat healthy. This has, in my opinion, the biggest impact, because I've seen lives change merely because they changed their physical conditions. And so in my opinion, taking care of physical health should be one of the first pillars, because once that is in order, everything else can be easily approached. Not easily, but simply approached. Like once you feel good with your body and you feel healthy, then you'll be able to take care of your emotions better, of your social interactions better, because we all want to feel good. So physical, if I needed to choose, I'd say physical. As I said, they're all as important. But yeah, this answers the question.
Yeah, and I think maybe I'm thinking sometimes it's also easier in the way that dealing with emotion or with deep emotion or even traumas, it's actually harder than taking care of the body. So maybe the physical can actually help to develop this kind of start towards something.
Yes. It has the easiest entry point, because not everyone knows how to regulate their emotions, but everyone can find out how they can eat healthier. We all know how we could eat healthier by including more fruits and vegetables in our systems rather than junk food. No, not too much sugar, not too much snack. Like those are common nowadays. We all know them. So this is why it's easier to enter there. We also know certain exercises. Each one of us knows some kind of sport. So if it's not gym and you're not a professional gym, you know some kind of activity that you can do. We all know how to run. So as you said, it's the easiest entry point in actually starting to build your well-being again, which is why I say it's number one.
I have also a question. It's a little bit difficult, I don't know, but let's try. So I know a person, and I think she is like super overwhelmed with her work and overload. And from my perspective, of course, I'm not the expert, but I think she is like nearly to burnout, like really nearly there. Once I tried to speak up with her about it, and she was like saying, no, it's not true. It's not that. What are you saying? Burnout? No, it's really not my case. But I think she is like really into this cube, and it's like, I was thinking if you could maybe you have some idea how to speak to the person, how to, I would not say convince her, but maybe to give her some input to reflection, to maybe to try to change her situation.
Before I can answer that, what makes you think that she's getting into a burnout?
Because she's saying to me that she's having these panic attacks after she left office, like after she is leaving the office, and like she's crying sometimes, calling me crying, and like speaking badly about her working environment. So it's like really related to work. But anyway, she's like always trying to find, no, it's normal, it's just the day like this, or it's happening sometimes, but it's not every day, but it's actually super often. Yeah.
The toughest thing about this is you cannot help someone who doesn't want to be helped. That's point number one, right? But she wants to be helped. She's sending out signals that she wants to be helped. She's talking to you about it. She's crying. So first step is listening, making sure that you make her feel like she's understood. So empathetic listening, being there for her. And without trying, because you tried the approach of telling her directly, she blocked it. She's always going to block it until she's ready to open her arms and be like, yes, please help me. Up until then, all you can do is show her that it doesn't have to be this stressful. What I mean by that is maybe lead by example by showing her how a work-life balance looks like, and or telling her stories about people who have a good work-life balance, or not directly trying to tell her to do it better, or hey, you're burning out, because in her mind you don't see what she's seeing, so she thinks you don't understand how she's seeing it. I went through that. A lot of people almost every job I worked at, everyone tried to tell me, hey, you're burning out. And I was like, no, guys, I'm not. I'm able to do this. But it stayed in the back of my mind, right? So what you talk to her about will always be in the back of her mind. Once she feels like it's too much, she's gonna also come to you and be like, listen, it's too much right now, help me. But till then, maybe show her other job opportunities. Maybe it's the job, show her other job opportunities, or tell her about the initiatives we talked about now, right? Like, do you have feedback loops at work? Are you talking to the management? Are you able to express that you're working a lot? Are you being rewarded for your work, right? So rather than trying to tell her, ask her, help her see that maybe you're right, rather than telling her that you're right, by asking her certain questions like, are you actually talking to someone at work? Are the others also feeling this overwhelmed? Are the others at the same stage as you are? Making her more aware of what she's lacking at that job, which is a work-life balance in this sense. Does that help, Marta? Yeah, okay, cool. Anybody else? I'll ask myself a question. No, I'm kidding. I don't have any. Okay.
No, I mean, also, I would like to thank you and thank the organizers of this series of webinars. They've been really nice. Also, it's important, I think, to kind of take a step back and see the big picture of the situation. Sometimes we're just too busy and we're just, keep going, and we don't take a look around us to see what the situation is in the office. So I think, at least in my case, it's helped me to kind of understand the mechanics, but also the rhythm of the office as a whole, but also each individual colleague. I think as managers, we have a responsibility also to have not just what we present outside of the company, but also how we are perceived inside, but also how we perceive our team.
Yeah.
So for me, at least, it's been kind of introspective in the way that I behave around my colleagues, but also how I want to guide or to lead the team, or where I want us to go together.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for sharing that. I gave the example of being a football coach the other day. I love this analogy because if you watch football, there is this manager standing on the sideline shouting what they should be doing. However, at the end of the day, the players are the players, and he needs to actually see who's doing what, who's doing well. Sometimes you need to sub someone because they don't feel well. You see that they're maybe kind of in pain or whatever. So you need to sub them out and bring someone else in, which is you need to take a step back, as you said, Marco, and actually look. I worked with managers who don't look at all. So they come into the office, they don't look at the team, they go to the office, they're so busy, they're so drained mentally that they don't have time to look at the team. And if you look at the team, you'll know there has to be done, something has to be done. So he didn't take a step back. So yeah, taking a step back is always very helpful. And Marta, this might actually help your friend as well. Maybe book a vacation with her, or help her take a couple of days off for her to just be able to reset. And it has to be a bit longer, because one day will not cut it. It's like when you reset a Wi-Fi, you need to wait a minute, otherwise it doesn't reset, it just restarts. We need a reset sometimes. So let her go out of that environment for a bit and feel the tension leave, and then she'll understand that maybe, yeah, it is too tense. Maybe that helps as well. Lena said something in the chat. I presume she doesn't want to talk with her voice. It's fine. What if the person is afraid to be seen as someone who is not well mentally, or if compassion and support is mistaken with pity? Well, if a person doesn't want to is afraid of being seen as someone who is not well mentally within an organization, then maybe this person should find someone on the outside to talk to on how to deal with that issue. Because the idea of not being well mentally, yes, I agree. Maybe 20 years ago, it was something that people didn't want to present to the outside, because words like burnout, depression, and so on and so forth weren't actually things or terms that people were using in working environments. Nowadays, everyone knows. Everyone knows that being mentally unwell doesn't mean you're weak, doesn't mean you don't have what it takes, and it doesn't mean that you're not strong. Instead, it means that there is something to be done about it. And if the person wants to free themselves of that, they need to muster up the courage to actually say, hey, I'm not doing well. Like, this is step number one, is acknowledging I'm not doing well. And if people perceive that as weak, then that's their perception. It's okay. But I need, like, it's if the person is afraid to be seen as someone who is not well mentally, I believe this person should seek help in how to build the confidence back up. Because confidence, when you're not doing well, is obviously hurt, because you don't have right now things that you're confident about. You don't feel good. So working on yourself might help with that. But caring, like, are you afraid of being kicked out of the company if people realize that you're not doing well? Is that the direction you're thinking, Lena? Or is it just actually the perception? Like, I don't want people to see me not doing well. What kind of scenario are we talking about? And the other part of the question, if compassion and support is mistaken with pity, is also a perception thing, right? It's always about perception. It's how you perceive it. Like, at the end of the day, if people give you compassion and support and you want to view it as pity, you will view it as pity. If you want to view it as compassion, you'll view it as compassion. And if they mean it as pity or not, it's about how you want to perceive it. This is at least how I deal with something like this. Of course, when I'm not doing well, I don't want to go out there because I feel like people will see me, and I'm known for like the good vibes and the energy. And when I'm not doing well, I try to mask it, but it doesn't work. People who know you will see through you and will try to help you. You need to allow people to help you. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough road. It's okay to seek help. It's important to seek help. Yeah. I don't know if that helps, Lena. If not, you can unmute yourself or write something else in the chat. But yeah, it's okay to not be well, is all I'm trying to say at the end of the day. It's totally fine. And especially in such a fast-paced world. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the world is only getting quicker, but we need to maintain our tempo. We always try to run, and AI is coming, so we need to run even quicker. And this is coming and we need to run even quicker. This is not the pace we should maybe operate at the certain stage of our lives. So it's okay if you're not feeling well. It's okay to not feel well. Do the best you can. Sometimes you have 40% and that's the best you can, so you gave 100%. Fine. Okay. Lena agrees. She says she agrees. Okay, cool. That means we got that as well. Anything else before we log off for the last time? Nope. Okay. Cool. How are we gonna end this now?
Sad that it's getting to an end, but really thank you again. And I want to
Thank you all.
Everyone for joining us, and we are gonna get in touch. Also after that, we are going to develop a MOOC platform. I don't know if Dana already told you. So
I'm very excited about what's coming. I'm very, very excited. And I'm always there if you guys need anything. Like, if it's about helping people, I'm here. To the best of my abilities, always.
nice, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend, I'd say.
Thank
too.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Joining
Bye.
us.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.